Hello, everybody. My name's Scott Johnson. I'm so excited to be here to be able to teach. I wanted to thank LaShawn and her team for what they're doing to make it possible for us and the other speakers to be able to teach you what we know and give you the experience of our lifetime in whatever aspect we're doing. My responsibility is going to be dealing with finance. I'm not sure if they really have anybody else that is dealing with that. And so my goal is to teach you about money. A lot of times, people get into business because of a desire to serve people. And I noticed that there's a lot of coaches, those kind of individuals in this group that are there to serve people, and that's what they're excited about. Well, I want to let you know that first off, one of the priorities is money. And one of the things that I look at in business is stewardship instead of like capitalism. So capitalism, it's all about the profit. When it comes to stewardship, it deals with both profit and the consumer or your whoever you're serving. That you do checks and balances according to both of those things. The reason why is because one, if you're just after the money, then your service ends up being hindered. And I'm talking on a psychological level. When people can realize that you're just after the money, then your service ends up going down and you're not able to do the job that you want. At the same time, if you are completely service oriented, but not as concerned about the profit that you're making, then it hinders your ability to be able to serve the maximum amount of people. So it's like I said, to me, it's when you go into business, it's a stewardship. You're responsible for your for the business, for your employees. You're responsible for shareholders. If you're dealing with shareholders, you're responsible also for the customers. And if it's business to business, you're responsible for not just the businesses that you're serving, but those businesses or those consumers that might be using your service through another business. So think of it in terms. Always think of it in terms of stewardship. You have a responsibility, both fiscally and also emotionally to your customers or your clients. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that money is actually abundant. The reason why it's abundant is because money is only a thought. It doesn't really exist. We see it in the form of currencies, but currencies is just a measure of exchange. That's all it is. But because money is a thought, it is ever increasing. There's no limit. So it is very, very abundant. Let me give you just an example so that you can understand. Here I am, I'm in the United States, and the Federal Reserve prints our currency. They're a privately owned bank that prints currency that we use, and you possibly use it to wherever you are in the world. But here's the thing. When you produce something, like me being in the United States, let's say that I take some material and the material costs me X amount, and then I end up adding something else to it that costs me X amount, and then I decide to sell it for a profit. Well, because I sell it for the profit, does that mean that the Federal Reserve goes out and prints that much money because I created that additional profit? Same thing with interest. You think about mortgages or loans. Interest is constantly accruing. Does the bank or whoever that prints your currency, are they going out and keeping track of all of this increase of interest and creating the money? No, they're not. So it's honestly, it's continually increasing, especially now where money is just zeros and ones. And we just call it by whatever name we want to: euro, current dollars, or yen, pesos, whatever we use. So I want you to understand that money is ever increasing, and you create it as you move forward on selling your product or service. So never ever think that there's a lack of profit. This brings you to how do you sell it? And there is some really, really professional people here that are going to be able to teach you about marketing and about sales and about how to talk to people in order to be able to close sales. So be sure and talk to them about that. And if I could, I'd say get on the private. I'm not sure what it's called, but the 2 hour where you get to talk to the professionals in those areas. They can really give you insight. Now, here's something that I've learned whenever I talk. Now, even though I'm a multi-business owner and I've been doing this for decades now, I want you to understand that I still have mentors. The reason why is because coaches, although they may not be as far along as I am, are able to see insights that I might not be able to see because I'm actually in the game. So it's really important that you have their insight. When you go to these 2 hour sessions or whenever you get the opportunity to do a Q&A with them, what you need to do is pay attention to the advice that they give and see if it'll fit in your business and then act on it. You have to act on it. So I'm gonna end it with this. A lot of times in business, we don't act. And the reason why is we need data. You know, we want to make sure that we're doing it right, or we're scared to move forward, and then we don't move forward. You want to avoid that. And one of the ways that I avoid it is very, very simple. And that is when I look at business as a game. And this may sound really strange, but even now, there's an image that pops into my head every time there's a challenge that comes. I know on one of the posts we were talking about failure. To me, there's no such thing as failure. There's only challenges, and the challenges in business all deal with the game. And the game is not against everybody else. It's just a game. I'm moving forward in a specific direction, and I'm hitting the path, and I'm moving forward. And then all of a sudden, a brick wall will come. This wall looks like it's brick. I have no idea if it's brick. It could be paper for all I know. It can be short. It can be tall. It can be wide. It can be thick. I have no idea what it's made out of. And what happens is as soon as a challenge comes and I picture this, and I can describe it for you. I'm actually on the trail. There is green rolling hills. I can see trees off in the distance. There's a sunrise or sunset to one side. It feels like it's almost surreal, like it's VR. And I'm standing there, and here's this brick wall in front of me. And that brick wall is just the challenge that's ahead. And I know that there's a way around it because tons of people have done it before me. And I have to figure out what is the best way to get around it. There's multiple ways to get around it. I just try and pick the best one that I think I need to try to get around it. And you know, you can go over it, you can go under it, you can go around it, you can bust through it, you can tear it down and take it with you. You might need it, you know, along the trail later. But having that thought in my mind, what happens is subconsciously my mind triggers that there's more than one way around the challenge. And then all of a sudden my mind opens up to all these different ways that I can get around it and be able to move it forward. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because one of my businesses built off a brick wall, and that brick wall dealt with finances. Now, I didn't start out in finances. In fact, I didn't know much about it when I was a teenager. But I got to I hit this challenge in my first business, and that challenge led to solving problems in dealing with money and finances, and it moved me forward. And as it moved me forward, I realized that I was learning at a pace and in a way that was different than what other people were thinking, and I didn't realize that. And that solution ended up turning into one of the businesses that I have today that I'm actually, the goal is to take it international, which back when I started, I never thought that I would be doing something this fun and this amazing. So every challenge that you have, look at it as just you're on a game board. The game's going to happen whether you like it or not. The challenges are going to come up. Make sure it's a beautiful path that you're on and that you enjoy it. and figure out how to get around each challenge. But that's all it is challenges. Don't look at it for being this stop or failure. And I'll tell you this much, I have stopped businesses. I've stopped them in full stride. And the reason why was because I hit a brick wall and I saw that the way it was going was completely wrong. And I had to tear down the company and rebuild it. So in a different direction. So I just want you to understand it's part of business. It's just a game. And as you move forward and as you get better and better at it, you become skilled. And with those skills, you're able to bless and inspire other people. So I want you to understand that I'm one of those types of people. I have a lot of stories, a lot of experiences in story form that I've gone through that I love to share with people. So this is kind of how I am as an individual, and my team thinks it's hilarious, but they love it. And that is, I have a direct route that I'm going, and that direct route has a lot of tangents off of it. You know, you've got the main root of the tree, and then you've got all these branch roots that string off of it. That's kind of my thought pattern. It goes in a wild direction, but everything is focused on the exact same thing. So I'm hoping that that if you end up being at the one that I'm teaching on Tuesday, or the second day, whatever second day it is, and that I'm able to share with you my experience and be able to help you in this financial game, get a better understanding of how to play it and the smart way to play it. The other thing too is if you end up doing the 2-hour session, I'm going to be doing a master class that I actually usually charge people to teach. And this master class is how to have the life you want in half the time and a quarter of the price. And it talks about how you're supposed to look at your numbers or your financing, your income statement and balance sheet to be able to figure out what is it that you really want, where are you going, what do you really want, and how to get there as fast as possible. So thank you so much. And I hope to see you at the event. Thanks.